when she and George were together, it just brought out something very special in him and brought something very special in her. And those were some of my favorite scenes.
Oh my God, it's a cell phone!
Yeah. I'm going through that with my daughter right now. She wants a cell phone.
George!
Vic!
George discovered Emiliano completely. I had nothing to do with it. I wish I could take credit for it. George saw Emiliano, said he has to be on the show.
Well, I was doing a show here in Los Angeles in Spanish. George thought about bringing me to the show as his father-in-law. It was my lucky night.
That character hadn't even been written yet. He was the father-in-law who didn't like that his daughter had married me. I mean, everything that we put on that guy worked.
You know, I got a little pull with Santa ever since I treated him for that myocardial infarction.
How can he do the operation if he can't even say the word? Myocardial infarction.
He's always making fun of my accent.
I finally left her, George. She was suffocating me. She kept asking me, where am I going? When am I coming home? How can you live with a woman that doesn't trust you?
Another fight with your mom?
Yeah.
The character Ernie, I mean, my best friend growing up, it was named Ernie. When Valente came into audition, I thought, well, that kind of doesn't really look like. I mean, I wasn't smart enough in casting to think that the dude had to look like the guy.
The character that I play has remained a little more innocent and hasn't gotten beaten down by the world so much.
No one makes me laugh as much as Valente Rodriguez. I mean, I can't do it sometimes. I can't look at him.
Oh, no. How could you peep at my mom, George?
Look, to even things up, I'll let you look at my mom naked.
So you want pictures of the real thing? Hey, Perv, did you enjoy the show?
A lot of the stories came from just directly from the idea that he had a mother who had been so terrible and had lied to him so much as a child and as an adult.
Hey, I only lie to protect you. Or when it's convenient. Or, you know, when I'm just too damn tired to tell you the whole truth.
I remember reading in Time magazine when they wrote an article about the show, the writer said if it wasn't for George Lopez's grandmother, I mean, the guy wouldn't have a show. And I think that's the first time that I ever really saw it.
Benny is a real character, and she's still alive. And in reality, she is George's grandmother. And she just thinks I'm hilarious, never thinks it's horrible what we say or how Benny is.
Belita Moreno is one of the most talented actresses on the planet. I mean, the woman that you see on the show is not the woman she is in real life. She just comes from a great background of great stage actors, and she gets it.
Shout!
And she and George developed this relationship where now she's kind of like the mom he never had.
You know what? You're a pretty good son.
Thank you.
This show has been like the family that I didn't have growing up.
Wouldn't it be better to deal with this surrounded by all the people that love and support you?
Before I married you, my life was just fine without love and support. Right, Mom?
I hardly knew you were there.
For George, I always look at this like it's like a toy train, and he gets to add cars to the toy train, and he gets to bring in the people that he's always wanted to work with.
Sandra, she wanted to play somebody interesting. I mean, she's like, I'm only come on, I want to be myself, I want to be a character I can hide away in. And we created Accident Amy.
And I said, I want her to be obnoxious enough to where they want to hurt her.
Did you know that in 1992? I see it. I see it. In 1992, there was a study that...
Are you okay?
Yeah. My leg broke my fall.
Damn, Amy, how old are you?
30.
How?
I loved Puffin Stuff when I was growing up, and we put Puffin Stuff, and I danced with him in the backyard.
It's Puffin Stuff! Oh, you're so soft.
And Cheech, obviously, also a huge idol and role model for him as a stand-up comic and everything else.
It was really amazing, George and Cheech together.
I didn't know whether I liked men or women at that point, and, well, Benny seemed to be the best of both worlds.
My favorite episode It was definitely the episode where Lou Diamond Phillips played his brother. It was based on something in George's life. He had always felt that whoever his father was had taken the birth certificate and used it to legitimize a child from Mexico.
So I suppose your dad's name is Manny Lopez, too?
Yeah, it is.
This Manny Lopez?
Dude, how'd you get a picture of my dad?
Dude, this is my dad.
One of the things George told us was that growing up, he didn't see many faces like his on television.
In the very beginning, one of the executives at the network said, "How can you make it more Latino?" And George said, "Look at my face." He goes, "People are going to know."
The George Lopez show has changed the face of TV. No one could have figured out, and no one was able to figure out, how to put a Latino family on TV.
And I don't think people realized that there was an audience before George Lopez. And I think he found it.
When I was 10, there wasn't trampolines and cartoon characters. I never went to Chuck E. Cheese. My mom said, "You want to see a mouse? Pull the refrigerator out." There's about 5 Chuckies running around back there.
There are a lot of stand-up comics who can't get in touch with their pain in their past. They just kind of lock down.
You know, Mom, one day I'm going to walk into a shrink's office with a wheelbarrow full of cash and talk until he begs me to leave.
This is what makes George a great actor. He can go back in and access the pain.
We were, in a weird way, very fortunate for George to have a really bad childhood, because that's where we pull a whole bunch of the stories.
It's like a bad accident sometimes, and of course, we love to watch a bad accident, and that's George's life, but he's made a beautiful thing out of that accident.
What goes on in my head is just a lot of crazy stuff. And a lot of it is painful to some people, but it's really always very funny. And there's never a dull moment.
Hey, it says here you took a lot of crap today.
See, that's the difference between you and me, Mom. You see crap, I see a crap opportunity.